What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Chuds BBQ. My name is Bradley Robinson, and today I'm going to show you how I made this beautiful, delicious, smoky, plump, amazing beef and pork sausage made with the all-new, nice and plump Chuds BBQ sausage starter mix. Coming up! Coming up! Coming up! Coming up! This is some meat. Ooh. Pat it dry. And what I got here is a big old chunk of a pork butt, as well as some lean brisket sections. Fat cap still on there. And we're gonna start things out the way we always do, just by cubing this up so it fits in the meat grinder and chills down a little bit quicker. Going for a beef and pork blend today, because I like a beefy porky sausage. But of course, you can do whatever you want. You can do a lamb sausage, all beef, all pork. I've done turkey sausages, chicken sausages. It's all good, folks. But for a classic Texas-style barbecue-y sausage, a beef and pork blend is typically what you're gonna find at a barbecue joint. And that's because they usually use all the trimmings from the ribs and the brisket. And with that in mind, it's usually a beef-heavy sausage because there's a lot more trim coming off of brisket than there is pork. But when it comes to beef/pork ratios, it's really whatever you want. I usually go with luck of the draw, you know? If it's 50-50, that's great. If it's 70-30, that's great too. Beautiful day to be making some sausage, I tell ya. Rain is dripping on my legs. Looking good. What I got here is exactly 5 pounds of a mixture of beef and pork. I don't know what the actual ratio between beef and pork is, but looks like it's about 50-50. But now I'm gonna pop this into the freezer to get nice and cold before we send it through the meat grinder. As for the flavor profile of today's sausage, I'm very excited to announce this. All new Chuds BBQ sausage starter mix. That's right, folks. I took all of my favorite sausage ingredients and I bagged them up perfect amount for a 5-pound batch of sausage. Because if you've seen a lot of my sausage making videos, you may have noticed that I tend to put a lot of the same ingredients in every sausage that I make. And especially if you've seen my 5 master ratios for sausage making, you know that I always include kosher salt and a binder, typically milk powder. That's what's in this, by the way. And then a baseline of good flavor like garlic, paprika, black pepper, that sort of thing. And to be honest with you, I got sick of measuring out the same amount of the same ingredients time after time, because I'm always making a 5-pound batch of sausage for these videos, and I figured I might as well sell them to y'all as well. So in this cute little bag, look at that little sausage man. He's so cute. You simply add this to 5 pounds of meat. It can be whatever meat you like. You can probably just get yourself some ground beef or ground pork, but as long as you get your fat content right, simply open this package, add it to 5 pounds of meat, mix it up, case it, and you are good to go. And the reason I want to do a real simple, real middle of the road with the flavor profile of this is because this is just the base, right? On its own, it makes for a great sausage, but really, this gives you everything you need and a bit of a blank canvas of a perfectly seasoned, nice savory sausage that you can then customize to whatever you're making. Like if I was gonna make chorizo, I would start with this and then I would add some oregano and probably more paprika, some cayenne, things like that. If I was gonna do a jalapeno cheddar, I would start with this and then add jalapenos and cheddar. Could not be simpler. And as I mentioned, this does include high temp milk powder as the binder because I've had great results with that. But another thing to note is that there is no pink salt in this. And that's because there's a bit of a learning curve when it comes to pink salt and using it correctly. And I didn't want anyone to use it wrong and get sick and then come back and blame me for it. So basically this is for a perfect fresh sausage, which is what we're making today. And then if you do want to do a cured sausage or a cold smoked sausage, you simply add about 5 grams of pink salt to this mix and you are good to go. And these are in fact on sale right now on my website, chudsbbq.com or shopchuds.com if you want to take a shortcut. We sell them in 1-pack, 3-packs, and 5-packs, or you can order as many as you want for making individual 5-pound batches, or if you want to make a 20 batch, get 4 of them. 5, 10, yeah, 4. I'll have a link in the description if you want to pick some of this up for yourself. I highly recommend it. It's gonna make my life a lot easier and also make my sausages a lot more consistent. With that being said, let's bust out the meat grinder. Yeah. Now that our meat is sufficiently chilled, I'm gonna throw some gloves on. Through the grinder we go. If I remember to plug it in first. Going through the coarse die today. What is that, a 10 millimeter, I think? It is the typical way you're gonna see sausage made around these parts. Pretty coarse, but nothing too big. And that's half the reason I make these chunks so small, is because you can just kind of drop them in, and that way nothing gets clogged up. You don't need to bust out the horn and really stuff this stuff through. Beautiful, nice clean grind on that. And now it's time to add our lovely sausage mix. Couldn't be much simpler than this, folks. Love it. And now all we need to do is get this mixed up. Just make sure everything is evenly distributed throughout the meat. Smells good. And then we're gonna go in with our liquid, which is just some water today, 10% by weight. So that's about 226 grams. And now we're just gonna mix this up, get a little protein extraction going, which basically means make this nice and tacky. Because as we all know, whenever you mix up meat for a burger or meatloaf, it gets a little stickier and a little bit tougher, which is something you don't want for a burger, but you definitely want for a sausage for that nice, plump, snappy bite. And it's also a great way to make sure that all the spices and liquid are evenly distributed. So I'm just gonna mix this by hand for probably about 3 minutes. Tacks up pretty quick. And there we go, looking nice and sticky, nice and tacky. It's time to case this up. Going on with some standard hog casings today. I believe these are 32, 35s, which is what I typically use. And we just gotta stroke it onto the horn here. Tie it off. Ooh, nice and tight. Snip the tip, and now we case away. Ooh, yeah, nice and plump, just like the package says. And I'm gonna go for some sausages about, yay, pretty typical size. Loving the color of this though. And I must say, from a video making perspective, this shoot has gone so much quicker because I didn't have to weigh out every single ingredient. I pretty much just made that sausage mix selfishly to make my life easier. Twist it around, and just keep on going. And just like that, we've got ourselves 5 pounds of some beautiful, nice and plump sausages. Oh, they're so pretty. I'm gonna park these in front of a fan for about 30 minutes to help dry out those casings a little bit. Little change of scenery. We made it to the Chud shop. Got a few buddies hanging out. Hi, Pat. Joe Yim. What's happening, buddy?
Just getting the first fire going in this pit. Little Chud chimney right here.
Love it.
Gonna get this thing nice and seasoned up so whoever gets this pit won't have to worry about doing it. And we're gonna put it through some tests with some brisket and some ribs. It's gonna be ready to go.
Thing's a beast. A little bit bigger than mine over there. Evan.
Hello.
What are you cooking today, buddy?
Pork spare ribs, cooking up a couple slabs of ribs. I was asking the question today, do you call it a rack or do you call it a slab?
I think slab for baby backs. Rack
I
for
thought
spares.
the opposite. I thought a rack of baby backs. But slab of spare ribs, I think that's because it looks like a slab.
Well, I feel like
Slow,
a
low,
slab
and
is something you'd throw on a table, right? And baby backs often don't get cut, like at Chili's.
that's true. I don't know, dude. I'm team slab on spare ribs. I'm gonna start saying slab. Bring back slab.
Let us know
Slab
in the
of
comments
ribs.
below. Nice sweatshirt, bud.
Still Austin straight bourbon whiskey. Okay.
This is like barbecue yoga, right? Just
Okay.
hold the pose
Okay.
for the thummy.
Okay, do the
Do the what?
YouTube face.
Jeremy, are you at all worried about your leather apron in the rain?
Not at all. Not at all. Very robust. Very sturdy.
All right, folks, we're firing up this little 65 gallon of cold smoke these links off. And instead of starting my own fire, I figured I might as well steal some coals from this big boy. I think they can handle it. Luckily, when we're cold smoking, using some dense, wet logs is helpful.
Perfect.
And these are nice and dense and nice and wet. So there we go. Why is yours bigger than mine?
Compensating.
All right, folks, as you can see, these have been nicely air chilled, looking a little bit drier than they were before. So I'm gonna go ahead and snip these all apart real quick. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and throw these on the pit. So again, there's no curing these links, so we're gonna be keeping this pit around probably 225, 250 for just a couple hours, going as smoky as possible. That way we get some good flavor, good color, but we're not gonna keep these in the danger zone for too long. And I'm keeping them on this wire rack just to make sure everything stays nice and clean and makes for easy transport. Just going through separating these apart to make sure that none of them are touching, because that'll lead to some bald spots that have no smoke. But like, just gonna let these go for the next probably 2 hours. Joe Yim,
Yes.
how's the fire doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Actually, my first time cooking on the Chud pit.
Yeah, it's one of my first times cooking on one of these too.
Okay, so it's nicely there.
Thank you.
It's nice and plump without even being cooked.
All right, folks, we're about 3 hours into this sausage cook. Cooked it nice and low and slow, nice and smoky for the first few hours. Bumped it up to around 275, and these things are feeling very hot, as always. Ow, but they're looking nice and red, nice and plump. Still hot. Woo! Pull these off, let them cool down for a bit. 169, folks, that's what we're after. Oh God, it's hot. Oh, I don't want to burn myself. Woo! Just watching high-speed YouTube videos over here.
I gotta figure out how to use this complicated contraption.
It's made out of real pelicans.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
All right, folks, these are nicely cooled down. I think it's time to see how these beautiful little sausages came out. Looking pretty juicy. I can't tell. Joe, does that look juicy?
It's pretty juicy to me.
All about those coins. I'm not gonna lie, folks, this was a pretty lazy cook on my behalf. We've been hanging out drinking some brewskis at the Chud shop here. It's been rainy, we had wet wood, but you know what? That's what barbecue is all about. Pretty juicy, nice and smoky. Pretty good color for a fresh sausage too, you know, without that cure or a super long cold smoke. It was on the pit for about 3 hours, I'd say. And as you may have guessed, we've got a whole bunch of people here to give this little taste test and see how these came out. All right, boys, this is the all new Chud's BBQ sausage mix. Test number 1. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Give it a try.
We got a little bullseye going on this one.
It's delicious, Brad.
So good.
That salt level
So
is really
porky.
good. That
Yeah.
salt level is perfect. Ooh,
Yeah.
a little spice too.
Yeah.
So it's a pork and beef sausage, just water, no cure. You saw me smoke it today, nothing too fancy. Low and slow for a bit, crank it up. Very easy sausage making procedure compared to some other methods.
Sure.
Easy peasy. Pretty good.
Can I take another piece?
Really good.
How would you describe the flavors?
I mean,
What's-
it's a pretty classic kind of like barbecue style sausage. I mean, you've got your garlic, paprika, just a little bit of spice. It's well balanced. I think that's the important part.
It tastes good without having the curing salt in there, though. Even though you did it all in one day.
Yeah.
That salt level is right, so it still has that like long process kind of flavor to it.
Huh. What's the spice? The spiciness.
A little bit of cayenne.
Okay. It's subtle, but definitely there. Erica, you try this. My wife is sensitive to spice. Oh,
She's going for the butt.
what do you think? Oh,
Oh, man.
Should have gotten that on
I
camera.
know. That was the first official pop test.
Oh, throw that yellow mustard on there.
Thank you, sir.
There's-
Oh yeah.
I prefer Dijon.
Wait, is there mustard in the mix?
Maybe.
Oh wow.
I don't know. Can you do a snap test for me?
Sure.
Oh,
Oh, my eye!
Oh,
there you go.
okay. Well done.
I legitimately just made sausage earlier this week, and it's really nice to eat something that I didn't have to pick.
Yeah, honestly, like I just said, this is the most pleasant experience I've had making sausage because instead of having to weigh everything out by the gram,
Just dump it in. Yeah.
I just ate sausage at a well-known barbecue place, and this is definitely better.
But the thing I was going for with this mix is that you can build upon this. You know, you could make it
Yeah.
spicier. You could add cheese. You could add jalapeno. You could add
yeah.
some cumin. It's like it's just
Very
a
good
perfect
base.
starting ground.
Very good
That
base.
is also good on its own.
It's a blank canvas.
I'm gonna squirt some in the mouth. Oh, that is a lot of grease in the mouth.
Juicy.
Very nice.
All right, boys.
Well done.
Thank you for tasting my sausage.
It's a good mix.
ShopChuds.com.
That's it.
I said it wrong.
So we just finished shooting the Chud's sausage mix video, yet it's a whole day of content, so we still got some folks out here cooking ribs. Let's check in.
Are you like doing 100% by feel on everything you cook?
No, not necessarily. The burgers, I mean, we always temp the burgers.
Still lost in bourbon whiskey.
Dude, that sucked.
Hey, you shut your mouth when you're talking to me, Brad.
Still got it, guys.
That's good.
All right, y'all, and that is it. That is the all-new sausage mix from Chud's BBQ. I highly recommend giving this a try, especially if you're new to making sausage. This is a really great way to get a good start and take all the guesswork out of your salt ratios, binder ratios, and all that sort of stuff. And like I said, this is really good, just middle-of-the-road, good tasting sausage, savory, a little bit of spice, black pepper, garlic, just classic flavors, but it's also a really great starting point for whatever kind of sausage you want to make. And so far, everyone that's tried it has said it's absolutely fantastic. But all that being said, if you enjoyed this video, let me know by hitting that subscribe button. Let YouTube know by dropping a like on this video. If you do pick up some of the sausage mix at shopchuds.com, be sure to tag me on Instagram at Chuds BBQ. I'd love to see what y'all are cooking. Big shout out to all the Patreon members. Thank you for supporting Team Chud and allowing me to keep making all these videos. And until the next time I see you, please go cook something outside. Peace!